Move with the shade. We're lucky we've got that tree. I think it's a lovely. So he's looking at you.
It's a beautiful style. That's real Peter, isn't it? Yeah, that's Peter. I like this one.
But it doesn't go I might just say hello to you and introduce myself. I go to the gym with Darksy every day. Oh God, he's so funny. He keeps us so entertained. He's hilarious. If he didn't, yeah, no, you have to say he's your son.
I love him dearly, but sometimes we tried to take him back to the hospital. But they wouldn't let
I'm
him
going to
back.
tell him that tomorrow. He'll be
Oh my God.
We only go so that we can hear his jokes.
Don't worry, his knees are sore and sore, and he's
Do you know Tyler?
Yes, well, Tyler's boyfriend is working with my son, Charlie. Yeah. So,
Gorgeous.
isn't he lovely? They're still going to Europe?
Yes,
Yeah.
Tyler was down for lunch on Saturday.
Yes.
She rang Saturday morning. You home, Grandma? Yes. And she was working
Yep.
late, and she said, I'll be down.
Oh, how lovely. So his name is Jack? Yes, that's right. So Charlie got him the... Yes? Yep.
Nelly too.
Oh, he's a gorgeous boy. Oh, I've only met him, a few times, but him and Charlie are working really well together here on the Kmart site, because that's coming to an end soon. Yeah. And Charlie is, yes. Yep. So he works for Cook and Dowsett. And when he first, because he's moved back from Auckland, when he first moved here, they didn't employ anybody else for him to do the job. He said, I need some help. And that's when he said to Jack, what are you doing? Because I think they've known each other because Charlie went to school at Grammar in Sale. And that's how they know each other. Anyway, long story, but I'm glad they've worked with each other. But Tyler keeps me entertained too. She's hilarious. This English accent she does.
Oh, these two. Peter. This Peter. Sorry, just know all of the Peters. Peter over there, Peter here.
There's a couple of chairs here.
71 ZD.
I give them the option.
K code. Same colour, right?
I was more worried about that arguing at the dog.
Someone's given a stick of jam bubbling on the passenger side. And we're all in the car saying, please don't mind. You've got to, that's what's being done this
My
week.
abilities, and she's like, about to make
He's made the patch with Steve, his place. That's the nastiness of 52-year-old cars. What you see up the Phoenix stuff. I won't do it. Peter, there you go. Okay. Yeah, it'll be finished for a wedding on 30th.
I just thought of it, so
Smoke? Oh, don't. Each week as the grinder keeps working across the panels, oh, you expect, but it was a shocking shock. Sorry girls, a coated jam is a horrible paint job. It's put on, almost put on with a paintbrush and there's no preparation.
oh, I think that's
And
great.
you can't see what's underneath.
The guy was probably funny in real life.
Put there to hide things.
Oh, I hope that is not something. So if it's just like,
Trail it on 5 minutes in one spot, 10 millibottles.
Remember the sled? That was that.
Remember the sled? The real life whispered, and that's what they did with them. And then it all fell
It all fell out.
which one your dad?
I don't want you to get sunburned, Cheryl. If you're fair-headed, you're welcome to go and sit over there if you want. If you're comfy there, I'm not going to say it again. You're right, Rod? Okay. Thank you, Kim. I think we're ready to start.
Can't I? ship on a star. Wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops. High above the chimney top, that's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we going, Kim? That's a little bit better, I think. The big fella, Big Israel, is somewhere over the rainbow. Welcome, and thank you for being here. I know there's neighbours and there's friends. And Rodney, without being at all condescending, thank you for you and Cheryl for leaving home at 5:30 this morning and making it up here. We gather today to mourn the passing of Peter Smith. We gather to say our final farewells. We gather to pay tribute to Peter's life of 78 years. And I've got to add, ladies and gentlemen, too, that when Jan saw Rodney, she said, "There's Peter." That's a fact. Today's a time to say thank you for being part of our lives. As a dad and a brother and a friend. And to say, Peter, you have been loved. Jan has said that it seems to her that Peter sadly lived by Murphy's Law. If it was going to go wrong, it did. And Jesus damned hard to live in those sort of circumstances. But today we say goodbye, and we say a peaceful rest to you, Peter. The trials and tribulations of your life are now at an end. And on this beautiful warm autumn day, after a bit of rain last night, we say farewell and lay you to rest. Peter's been described to me as affable, in spite of, well, I think we can say a difficult life, a difficult personality, an eccentric personality. He couldn't quite connect with life, with people. And there's a sadness in that, and when Jan and I were talking, the honesty of it is that we wondered if Peter was on the spectrum of Asperger's. It throws up lots of challenges. He was so stubborn, like his dad, Des. And it is proper to say that living with somebody of that personality can be so virtually impossibly difficult. Yet Peter's sister Jan has always been a strong part of Peter's life, and particularly since he's been on his own. Yet, Jan, you've always looked out for him, looked after his welfare. And we acknowledge how we feel with a beautiful piece of music later on. When you're presenting a funeral service and you're looking for words and poems and readings that speak to you of somebody, not just for padding, but they speak to you of a person, we found this one. It's called The Loner. I've often been called a loner because I follow my dreams. Confidence to do that's not as easy as it seems. You get the urge to do some bloody crazy thing, say yes to yourself, I can do that, without ever thinking of the troubles it may bring. I don't have to walk in the shadow of any other man. To break new ground each and every day stirs up my mind. I've got to have a challenge to help me survive, climbing a mountain, fording a stream, dust and dirt and flies. I got some bruises and hurts as I go along my way, but each new day brings something that won't let me stay away. We should never ever think that we can't do all of these things. You've just got to go and do it. And if you follow your dreams with your heart and your mind, you can consider yourself a person of a very special kind. Now, Jan and I put this, Peter's story, if you like, put it together from what we know. He was born in Melbourne on the 6th of April 1944, just before the end of the war, to Des and Helen Smith. And Pete has two sisters, Jan and Philippa. Family were living in East Malvern, and Peter sort of grew up with the girls, grew up around the Carnegie-Caulfield area. Went to primary school at St Kevin's and secondary as well. But he left school halfway through year 12. Jan says that her brother was highly intelligent and very good at what interested him. An ability that was hardly matched with mathematics. And Peter couldn't understand why his family couldn't do the same. He left school and worked in real estate, and then the gas industry and compliance. Peter married Carol in 1968, and Brad came along in 1969, and Rodney, you're a 1971 model. Family were living in Clayton, and sadly the marriage failed around 1975, we thought. Peter met Yetta, and they married and moved to Hoppers Crossing in the late 70s. He was working with a finance company in payments at that time and refinancing. At the age of 46, 1990, he had a massive heart attack, but survived it. Yetta and Peter moved to Bairnsdale, and then he was diagnosed with a pituitary. I practiced that 5 times this morning. Oh, the pituitary tumour. He survived the heart attacks, as I said, and the tumour. And after some extreme difficulties in his second marriage, the marriage was dissolved, and Pete moved up to Morwell to re-establish his life. He was unable to work during this time, what with the tumour and the heart attack. And there was a time in 2017, and this may represent Pete's personality a little bit. He was up a ladder, so he's not a young man, and older fellas do not get up ladders, do we? No. Anyway, he got up a ladder and fell over. He said to his sister, I didn't fall, the ladder gave way. Luckily a neighbour found him, because it was winter time, and he had knocked himself about and he wouldn't have lasted the night. But no, not my fault for getting up the ladder gave way. And Jan remarked that a week before Pete's death, there ensued a robust discussion on the positioning of the taps over the sink. I always thought that hot was left, cold was right, and something doesn't go uphill. But there was a robust discussion. We will eventually become sure of what's taken Peter's life, but for now we're left wondering. We will find out. And we think the date of Peter's passing, it's only one day, but he left us on February the 10th. And as I said earlier, I'll say it again, we wish him peace. Now, that song that I mentioned about being a very special song, it's a footy club song in the end. I bet Jerry and the Pacemakers didn't know it was going to be Liverpool Footy Club song when they put it together. But the lyrics in it are just amazing. You'll never walk alone. And that's what Jan said. He never walked alone. Thank you, Kim.
You walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark.
A little bit of volume, please. It's a beautiful song.
At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver sound of the lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, for your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never
I think that song is one of the best songs to come out of the 60s. It's just a beautiful piece of music. Now, when our tribute to Peter's at an end, ladies and gentlemen, and we've laid him to rest, there's nothing formal organised, but Jan thought that if you're able to, you might head across to the RSL and have a cuppa and share some memories. I'm sure Rod would love to hear some stories of how Dad was through the years, Rod. So share that time together if you're able, please. We chose the 23rd Psalm, and it's one of the most used of all the Psalms, but number one, I think it represents the East Gippsland area, and we had some rain last night, so we have got green pastures almost. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Little blokes in the shade, eh? It's time to say farewell to Peter. And while Peter's life has been difficult, I think it's important to acknowledge the difficulty of those who have to be around a personality like Pete's. It's damned hard. There's always a sense of having to bear something. There's always a sense of tolerance. And sometimes you just shake your head and say it's just too hard. But at the point of that is our love for this man. Wouldn't it have been wonderful if we could stand here today and say, gosh, wasn't it a wonderful life? Easy with its usual ups and downs that life throws at us. But it's not. But in spite of everything, the difficulties that Peter not only experienced but presented, we are here. We are here to say farewell. We're here to say your pain has gone. And we're here to look to the future. And Jan, I illustrate that probably most poignantly by you've got your Sundays back again. And that's the fact of it, isn't it? We wish you peace, Pete. And if you'd like to, please, if you'd like to, join with me in the words of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. For you ladies who are, and fellas, we're not allowed to say that anymore, who are into flowers, you will recognise that casket spray's done by Ange down at Efflorescence in Meetung, and she is our go-to lady for beautiful, beautiful flowers. Well done, Ange. Thank you, Kel. Thank you to all who have been here this morning. The hot rodders, the oldies, the hot rodders, the and Chan. They wouldn't be. Thanks for coming, everyone. Rod, Cheryl, thank you for coming up. Appreciate everything. Let us now commit Peter's body to the warm earth from whence we came, and in doing so we acknowledge that we come into this world with nothing, and we depart with nothing. However, the wonder of our time on this earth is that we leave behind warm, enduring memories to mark our years and to sustain those left behind. For those of you who, like Peter, may memories be your comfort. For those of you who loved him, may you hold a sacred place in your hearts and a knowing smile on your lips. Tenderly and reverently, we commit Peter's body for burial. We wish you peace, Peter. We wish you peace. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our final song. We wonder how they're going to go this year, but anyway, go Swannies. The Sydney Swans theme song. Thank you, Kim. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down swans will go in and win over all, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honor the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Look though the odds be great or small, swans will go in and win over all, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you feel comfortable, head back to the old cell.